Hmm. Well, here we are. Rest break. Oh, I probably look like crap. Well, I'm not trying to even see what's behind me. It's tent. You can see where my finger's pointing. Tent. Water and drink supply. Oh. Painter's drop cloth. Truck keys are poking me. Well, I think we're having a cigarette break here. That's just kind of how life is at the moment. Arrgh. Cigarette break with coffee, and then we got to eat breakfast, and it's going to be the homestead version of the breakfast when you have no kitchen, no water, no nothing. I'm looking through the cigarette. I know there's one in here. Ugh. Sorry about the commercial. It's been a rough 2 weeks, I'm going to tell you what. Slept rough, didn't get a lot of sleep. People drive by like every 2 hours, it seemed like, or were. There haven't been now. After I talked to one person about it, one pair of people, it probably was mostly them. Now they don't wake me up anymore. They don't make as many trips by after I'm sleeping. There's emergency rations for later. The Easy Cheese, and they're not a sponsor. This is a virus prep supply. Walmart said they didn't care how many of them I bought because nobody was buying them. Ha! I think I bought 19 of the sharp cheddar. Seriously. We'll have to show you some of my preps at some point in time. I did prep. First, I had to isolate up here. I got a number of canned hams. Over periods of the 2 weeks, I've made purchases for specifically up here, and left what was in my apartment. I probably bought 9 or 10 boxes of Ritz crackers, the big old party boxes, as much I could. But I got a few different size ones. Bought those early on. The cheese I just picked up like a day or two, a couple days ago. I bought originally 3 to see if I even liked them, because I probably haven't eaten one since I was 14. Maybe once I bought it for my kids one time when we were headed to a park somewhere. A hike up to the park. Other than that, I don't think I've really eaten that stuff in all them years. But it's a handy cheese, it doesn't spoil so easily. Got a couple cinnamon rolls that cost too much at the local gas station. Yeah. Whoops. Some Ritz crackers I had in the truck I brought down here, so that I could have a snack if I was hungrier than a donut, but I won't be. One donut's going to fill me up with coffee, guys. That's it. I won't need anything else until about 11:30, 12:30. And then I figure every 2 hours eat a little something. Keep me from feeling sick. I'm going to put that back in there. This is the travel bag. This is for a quick, easy way to keep gloves, emergency nose paper, yeah, things you can't throw in the dirty, muddy wheelbarrow and keep halfway decent. These are my good gloves, but they're tight on and off, so they take a long time to put on or take off. So that made them inconvenient, but they are good for hard jobs where you might get blisters. They're a really good glove. Had these I bought for some kid to use while he was here. But they were softer and went on and off easier, but they got wet overnight in the tent, so I had to hang them up on a tree to dry. But they are much softer and easier to wear for a lot of these jobs. I don't need more than that. These gloves I bought, and they're great. They're nice, heavy duty, easy on off. The only problem is somewhere in here, these seams on the inside of the gloves, these seams here hurt. They hurt this part of your hand. My hand was aching in the seams here from these gloves. So that's why when those got dry, I ended up using them again. And as you can see, I just carry all 3 in here, keeps them dry. They're wherever I need them. I just throw them in the bag in the wheelbarrow and clip it on the fence. Wherever I happen to be sitting, I have handy access to tools, water, a soda pop, cigarettes, a lighter, I'm not gonna lie. You know, but small items, nose paper, in case my nose starts running while I'm way out in Timbuktu. Because I can tell you right now, by the time I walk through the mud and come up through this trailer to get some toilet paper, or go out to the truck to get toilet paper, and come back, I'm too tired to work for the next 20-30 minutes because I have a heart problem. So, pays to have chairs along the way to sit on. Milk crates with rugs are my preference right now, because they'll sit stable on an uneven surface that's muddy. You know, you're not going to ruin anything. It's not going to have one leg sink down and cause it to break the leg off. You know, just, let's face it, everything's made in China and it isn't made that well. It's made to make a quick, fast profit. So most anything we buy is junk. So, let me get to this coffee, guys. You don't know, it might be getting cold. I thought the store opened at 6:30, so I was down there just before 6:30, thinking cool. But it actually opens at 6:30 most days, but Saturday and Sunday, and I was thinking it was Saturday, even though I probably knew last night that yesterday was Saturday. By the time I woke up today, it was Saturday, but it was actually Sunday. It was wishful thinking that I had the extra day that I took off yesterday and rested up. So, they don't open till 7 on Sundays and Saturdays. Ouch. Oh, it's the first cups of coffee that she sold. And I noticed that she took the filter out this morning that had been in since yesterday. That was kind of gross. But it is what it is. You know, I don't think she worked yesterday in the evening anyway, so it wasn't her that did it. Yep, the coffee's cooling down rapidly. First one I put ice. Second one I figure by the time I get to it, it'll be cooled enough to drink. This one I took extra time, boom with the camera, and all those different things. Chicks are getting so big already, you all. I got them early when I knew it wasn't wise to get them, because I walked into an Ace Hardware for one thing, and I needed to go to Tractor Supply to get a better price on the items. I think I was buying tools or fencing or fence posts, something. And when I got in there, they had the laying chickens $1 a piece. And I figured they're closing them out, so you got to get rid of them. And Trump had already by that time closed our borders to travelers and traveling. And I knew that export import will be next at some point. And since we've now closed down to, I'm jumping ahead again, we've closed down to essential services already, so which tells me I wasn't wrong. But I went ahead and got chickens then. But I couldn't get all straight, you know, yellow chicks. That's no fun. I mean, you know, there were some that were $3.99 or whatever, so I got a few of the $4 chicks. And I think most of what I got straight run, so, you know, I'm going to have a lot of roosters. I originally had 16. I will admit that 3 died. They died while I went to go get my deed. I had given a ride from here down to the store, a little couple, and it was before 5 o'clock in the evening, and I had given them some money just so they would have a little something, because, you know, I felt kind of concerned for them. And I pulled back around, I don't remember if it was $8 or $13 or something like that. And I pulled back around and decided I was going to go to Maryville, so I pulled back down. Instead of coming back up here, I just went on to Maryville to do the title the next day at 2 p.m. Figure I'd get a night's rest and a shower in a motel, you know. Instead of staying up here in the truck and then driving down last minute in a bunch of heavy traffic, it was better to drive at night. So I told them I was going and could they stop by in the morning and feed the chickens, and in the evening and feed and water the chickens, and they knew where the feed was. And they definitely know where the water is, because when they're here visiting, I make sure that they drink plenty of water and sodas, and, you know, they're getting stuff while they're here. So, and they use the seed bucket to sit on, so I knew they knew where that was, because it's one of our chairs. So I got 2 milk crates, a little folding step ladder, and the bucket. And this other one that's gross, because we moved the chicks in it, and they pooped in it, and there's some water up here to clean it. Although it is full of water now, it's grimy, gross, ain't nobody wants to clean that with no clean water. It's probably about ready where I could switch it. But I don't know, I think the mud's sticking in it, mud poo. I don't think it comes out with swishing. Swishing doesn't get it. There we go, that's a better swishing movement. There it is. You know, this probably isn't going to get edited. You're probably going to get it straight like it is. And then I'm going to show you why I haven't been on my videos. Now that I no longer live in that apartment, my teeth are gone. I have 3 teeth left. And a old root canal back here. It's broke off, waiting for it to come out on its own. I had been out looking at property a year ago, a year and a few months back when we had the tornado that came through, not the tornado, the hurricane that came through North Carolina, South Carolina, and was headed up the coast, right? Okay, I had gone to Tellico Plains and was looking at properties up there, several properties up there. And when I was gone 3 or 4 days, and when I came home, I was super exhausted. I went straight into my apartment. I went straight to bed. I did not eat or drink anything. I did not wake up for 15 hours to even pee. Now right there, we know something's wrong, because that doesn't happen. That means I must have lost consciousness for some reason. But when I woke up, every tooth in my mouth, instead of being like this down, was like this. They were able to bend all the way up to here and back. A complete L. Complete L. I kid you not. I was horrified, terrified, and scared. And I certainly did not want to appear on YouTube looking like that. Like some kind of crackhead. And it really, really upset me. It destroyed my self-esteem. And from that point on, I was not going to show my face and my teeth. And I couldn't talk about it, because she was my neighbor. You hear what I'm saying? But apparently they had a meth lab in the middle of the night, and it must have exploded, and while they got out, they didn't bother to get me out, or wake me up, or get emergency services to help me. They left me up there to die. I'm pretty pissed about it still, and it's been almost a year, maybe a year and a half. My teeth are still falling out. I was up here, and some neighbors stopped to talk to me, and after they drove off, I had this tooth between these two. Came straight out with a piece of toilet paper. I guess when I was talking, my tongue must have kept bumping it, and that was just enough to knock it all the way loose. It's true. I was glad it didn't hurt, and since they have to come out anyway, I was glad it was out easy, and I didn't have to deal with weeks of infection while this COVID's going on. You know, the tooth being painful to eat, and getting reinfected over and over again, because food would get down in the gum line while it's that loose. Man, I'm just glad it just was an easy out, no infection, very minimal bleeding, but enough bleeding to know that it cleaned the wound site. And I was good to go, so, you know, I'm not even going to complain about it. Just glad it's over with. So that leaves me 3 more to go. They'll be going. At least I can say this, I am 57, and I had all my teeth up until then. Yeah, up until that happened, I had all my teeth. But what a slam to your self-esteem, because it's the first thing people notice about you when you meet people, is your face and your teeth and your smile, and that was destroyed and taken from me. Not to mention my ability to eat and digest food with no teeth. Yeah, so life was rough. So here I am, and now you understand why I wasn't in videos. And then over the winter, I just didn't want to drive on a lot of icy roads, so I kind of got discouraged and quit looking. But another reason was the hydrogen sulfide gas. If it's in every well, as soon as you hit 200 feet, it's in the water table. So that was what was causing my disability for these last 10 to 12 years. And I started getting better because I started drinking the water in the city I was living in. and because they had started to, which was sewage contaminated water in the buildings I lived in, were very old. I will tell you that as of Friday the 13th, I got a letter stating that they are demolishing those buildings. I knew they were unsafe to enter and live in from the day I moved in, and I told them so repeatedly over the years, and they poo-pooed me, and now they have to demolition them because they are unsafe to live in. But I always knew. So it's too funny because, you know, I got that letter. It was like 3 days after I paid for it. No, Friday the 13th. 4 days after I bought the property. I didn't have the deed yet, but it was 4 days after after I paid full cash for the property, and 7 days before I had the deed in my hand is when I got that demolition order. Talk about timing. Man, the whole 2 years I've been worried about not being able to prep, because I wanted to prep, but anything I prep in that apartment I have to haul out. Eesh, that was too much trouble. Way more than I could handle at work. And so, you know, I began packing 2 years ago because I have disability, and things are going to take me a while to move. So I started packing. I was buying, I looked into 2 moving services. They probably wanted like $3,000. And they went like they went like huge sums for each and every box. Packaging tape. All that stuff is way sky high. I don't even have money like that. You can forget about it. So I started investing in plastic totes because at least you can use them in the future. Well, it's probably a good thing I did because everything here leaks. There is not a single room I can stay in that does not leak. On the property at all. I'm stuck in the truck. There is not a room that the floor or ceiling isn't about to fall in. The barn is questionable. It may have another 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I get conflicting stories on it. I've heard it's been so bad nobody has used it for like 10 years, but I can see use in it, you know. I can see animal poo in it. I've had other people tell me it's sound. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that barn. Then I've had people tell me, well, the barn's in pretty good shape, but if the roof stays like that, it won't be for long. You know, and then there's an outer wall missing. I've said it's a tobacco barn. Other people have told me it is not, but I think it's a pole barn. It's really a pole barn, I guess, but it's 2-story. Hey, Drew, this cigarette's for you. Got to give you a little backup as the only 2 cigarette smokers on YouTube who will admit they smoke. I forgot that ashtray's wet from this morning. It's been dry every time I've used it so far. I normally keep them empty and turn them upside down. So when I come back, things are dry. Gee, what to talk about? I made arrangements for gravel to come in, but I haven't heard back from the guy. He was supposed to just drive up and show up between Monday and Friday of last week. Got the deed on Friday. On the 20th, on the 21st, I talked to the rock guy. And I brought him out here. I brought him out here and showed him specifically the areas that I wanted done. And I'll talk about that a little. The road coming into this road is paved road, but it's only like 1.5 lane. So you can't pass people. You got to pull off and let somebody else by. I was talking with one old man about, he owns a bunch of property down here on the paved road, and I was telling him that when we come down this dirt road across the paved road, he's got that ditch that's so big. I said, it kind of scares me. I said, it looked like he could swallow a truck, you know, for like a creek ditch. And there is a creek in it. And I said, you know, I'm scared like on some icy day, you know, if I had to come down, that I'd have to be afraid. And he said, you shouldn't be driving in ice. And I just, here's this guy who's been playing tough with me, right? And I just busted up laughing. I couldn't help it. I busted up laughing because I agreed with him 100% and he didn't know it. But I agree. I have no business driving on ice to begin with. That's true. And that's why I didn't property search this last 6 months, because the places I'm trying to access or that I can afford to buy property at, or would be what I want, are going to be such rough access. I probably couldn't get in and out of them. And if I lived there, I would be living a prepper lifestyle as far as preparing for those bad months of the year. I would probably lay in supplies so that if I couldn't go to town for a month or 2 months, I wouldn't have to. Yeah, I did that already in the city. I mean, you know, if it was too cold or icy, I didn't want to be driving through these tunnel bridges and things, you know, through tunnels in these mountains. And so I would buy up groceries for a month or two so I didn't have to go anywhere. I mean, I might run into the risk of running out of milk or bread, but I had other substitutes. And, you know, bread run or a milk run, you kind of just time as needed. If you can get out, you go. If you can't, at least everything else is already there. You don't have to deal with it. And you can just have to do without for a little while. But, yeah, so I don't see the setup and things that I practiced when I was in town are already put me in good stead for dealing with the virus and for dealing with the remoteness out here and any inclement weather I'm going to have in the future. I'm kind of I already live that way. So it's like no change. It's all the same. Except that now I have no roof, no floor, no bedroom, no kitchen, no living room, no electricity, no running water, and no internet. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. I can't live without internet, y'all. This is gonna be rough. I don't know how I'm gonna handle this. It's gonna be rough. So I have to drain the driveway. The problem is it's thunderstorms, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and hail the size of pennies, I think they said on the news this morning. It was supposed to be over at 7, but it was still raining up until recently before I got out of the truck. And I have to eat breakfast, which isn't going to be anything great. But I figured I'd show you the real truth. Coffee, cigarette, breakfast, and a break. Because, see, I've already worked hard. I've been to the store, 8 miles each way. Had to wait on them to open. That just made me sleepy. I was ready to go back to bed the whole time I sat there waiting for them to open to give me coffee. Which is now disgustingly cold, and I'm very unhappy about that. Because I'm not done with coffee yet this morning. Could use another cup. So, you hear the bees? Carpenter bees. I don't even have to look behind me. We were infested yesterday with wasps, carpenter bees, and some other kind of flying insect that has a stinger. So, yeah. Oh, I was telling you about the kids feeding the chicks. They weren't able to come up. It turned out they got stranded somewhere and didn't come up until around 5 p.m. So those chickens were without water from 15 minutes after I fed them and watered them for 24 hours until they came up. And then I didn't make it home for almost another 24 hours. So they went twice without food for 24 hours and without water for 24 hours. And that's how I ended up with 3 dead chicks. They felt really bad, and they kind of hid from me for a couple of days. They didn't want to come around because they thought it was their fault. But really it's not. I mean, first off, I bought them before I had a chicken coop, before I had a fenced-in area for them. I didn't have a heat lamp. They slept in the truck with me. Yeah, I had them in the truck. Until they pooped on my driver's seat. They got out and pooped on my driver's seat. That was their last call. Last call for heat. But as you can see, they're getting pretty big. Starting to be kind of pretty full feathered. And, I am going to chain smoke. I'm sorry, that's just life. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or lie. I'd like to be a family channel, but I don't know that I'm going to make it that grade because of cigarettes. And because my life is just going to be hard and rough. It's just how it is right now. There's not, it can be a lot of getting around that, and I don't want to be editing things that to make it look like I live a life that's different than what I'm living. It's rough. I'm old. I don't have an income. I have absolutely zero income. I will likely never have an income again the rest of my life. So this little bit of money that I had that I tried not to spend for 2 years, and I really never spent anything personal other than I bought some loose pajamas because of circulation. I bought some warm blankets in case I needed to heat without electricity. I needed to stay warm in that apartment, which I did need to all the time. I did need it. I did buy an air conditioner to keep cool. And our fellow homesteader, not homesteader, but one of our fellow preppers from actually met him in Prepper Nurse 1's channel was Choo Choo Rooter. He came out on Memorial Day last year and installed an air conditioner for me at 8 o'clock in the morning. I called him. By 1 o'clock he had been out and had it installed on Memorial Day, y'all. And wouldn't let me pay him. I was very willing to pay him. He wouldn't do it. He's offered to help me with some other things. Look at a septic tank on a property I considered buying, and I actually haven't spoken to him since then. But he wasn't going to let me pay for the septic inspection either. But I didn't buy that property because they tried to jack the price on me, $5,000. Well, they tried to keep it at what it was already listed at, but they had told me I could get it for less. And for less, I was going to maybe do it. But when they jacked me, I just turned and walked away. I mean, I didn't even look back or answer her. I was through. They were sending me a dog. It was going to be end up being 1.5 acres with no building and a huge bill for demolishing a 100-year-old home. There wasn't going to be nothing on it. It was a waste of my time. They just kind of ranked me. I had brought a guest with me to look at the property, and she worked for the city of Chattanooga. And she came and closed to go in an old 100-year-old house and up under the basement and really look it over. But she had the little sock hat on and jogging pants and a jacket, and I drug her out of breakfast away from her breakfast table. Now, she has a disabled husband to look for who recently lost a leg, and, you know, she had to get him all set up before she could leave for the day. And me and her stayed out till well past midnight. But this realtor was saying, oh yeah, well, you can hire homeless people and let them live in some little building out here, and you can get them to do all your work for you. And she was being nasty. She was basically implying that me and my friend were both homeless. I mean, I'm sitting here in, what, a $68,000 truck? You know what I'm saying? And I'm paying full cash for a property, and she's going to act like I'm homeless and be insulting. It just kind of, everything about her. She's like, you know, dresses like Miss Barbie. Like she thought she was somebody, you know. And, you know, she might have to impress these people buying a $300,000 home. But she's telling me, yeah, I mean, the porch is rotten out, right? And you can see that, you can see when you went in and you looked in the roof of this house, you could see the tar paper. And she's telling me, it's okay. It's all okay. You can put a porch swing out there and just swing. And then she's telling me, I guess she thinks I was like biker trash or something, you know. So she's telling me, yeah, bikers all come through here, and you can have homeless people here, and excuse me. And she was telling me I could live in a camper. I don't want to live in a camper. Well, I wasn't going to pay $50,000 to live in a camper. And then, you know, it was like, the house was like right up on the road. Like you pull the truck in, your tailgate was maybe 6 feet out of the road. It's like, and it's a major highway. We were up there on a Saturday or Sunday. Me and my friend Miss Johnny. And the amount of traffic going through there was something else. And all I could think of was out in the country and their road noises, what made them move. There would have been no way I would have been out there trying to shoot a video with nothing but traffic. And on that moment, let's have a moment of silence and you can listen to what I'm listening to.